Good afternoon. It is the 21st of October, 11 o'clock, and that means it's time for Wild Earths Live at the Waterhole with myself, Sean Taylor, and the best tech team on the planet, the Wild Earth team. It's really good to be back with you guys. It's been a while. I've been off safarioing, even if that is a word. I'm not sure if it is, but I think it should be added to the dictionary. It's good to be back with you guys, and I'm looking forward to an amazing show with all of you. Now, don't forget, this show is about you guys, and we love interacting with all of you. So please make sure that you send us your questions or your comments via our social media platforms as well as WhatsApp. And we'll do our best to get to all of you and to answer your questions. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's really cool. And of course, no show would start better than at Aldonio Lodge here at the Waterhole. And we have got, at the moment, we're missing 4, but we've got 2 big bull elephants who are doing their best to show us each side of the African elephant. We've got the front end with the ears out, beautiful tusks, trunk flared, and we have the behind of another bull elephant with the tail wagging and what I like to call the granddad pants. So they always look like old men. You know, old men always wear those baggy long pants and they walk around. And that's exactly what a bull elephant looks like when he's walking, like one of those old gentlemen walking the streets, the high street, with their baggy pants on their way with their family. It's so funny, man. I just love these guys so much. And I'm looking forward to chatting to you guys today. It's going to be amazing. Cheryl, it's good to hear from you. Thank you so much. Hopefully today is a goodie and we get some good sightings, hopefully. I never get... Now listen, so I've been doing a few of these shows now, and I've had complaints, okay, about the fact that the others get hyenas and a few cat sightings, and I'm always... they call me the elephant man, which is... I find highly offensive, by the way, calling me the elephant man. I know they don't mean it literally, but still, they're calling me the elephant man because of how many elephants we see together. So I'm hoping to have some form of cat or dog on the show. I don't know how we can make this happen. We might have to start baiting the waterholes, but we'll see how it goes. And then Thomas, you're right, both the business ends, you're 100% correct, although I think the one business end on the right hand side is more dangerous than the one on the left, to be quite fair. We've got a giraffe sneaking in the background there, as usual. Off he goes. And I'm sure we'll have other Ellies joining us shortly. I like this camera angle. I've been away for a while, so I haven't actually seen the chat. Oh wait, no, it's going back to normal camera angle, but I like that camera angle. It's quite nice. So guys, I hope you all are well, man. I've missed you guys. I missed the chats and the jokes and all of that, so I hope all of you are ready and willing to have a big chat to me, because I've missed you guys. So I'm looking forward to having a chat. And as always, I always have a theme to the show. So today's theme is: what small animal do you go into any national park or anywhere in the bush to go and find? We all know the big animals that we like to go and find. But let me tell you, there's a lot of smaller animals. As you see the giraffe under that. I mean, how picturesque is that? The giraffe under the umbrella thorn. Amazing job, zoomies. This is great camera work. I love it. Proactive camera work. Very cool. But yeah, when you go to the bush, what small animal do you look forward to seeing? Or at least what small animal do you see that makes could be a bird call or whatever the case is? Which small animal do you like and you're like, oh man, I'm home. I'm back in my church, so to speak. So let me know, guys. What's your favorite small animal? It's going to be a good one. Hopefully, I get some good answers. I know I'm going to get some sarcastic ones. So I'm looking forward to it. So we're gonna leave this giraffe to contemplate going down to the waterhole, and we're gonna head over to Simbavati to go and see what's going on there. Oh no, I'm now gonna start being called the giraffe man. Oh no. I know I'm tall, but oh, come on. Where are the dogs and cats? But how cool is this? A beautiful aggregation or journey of giraffe. So something interesting about giraffe that maybe not a lot of you know is that giraffe actually don't have a herd structure. So they don't wander around in fixed herds like, say, impala would do, or a breeding herd of kudu would do. These guys are mostly solitary, actually. The reason you see them around each other is pretty much because they've got a food source. So there'll be knobthorn trees that are leafing, which is happening at the moment. I was in Greater Kruger guarding, and the knobthorn trees are as green as you can possibly imagine, and the giraffe are loving life. But that generally brings them into the same area. But of course, they come together for breeding. And quite often there are moms with little ones that are less than 2.5 years old, and they stay together for just safety purposes. But as soon as their little one disappears, or there's no more mating for the males, they go out on their own and they move around. So they don't actually need a stable herd structure to survive. Although you do see them with mixed with other animals, but that's really just safety in numbers. Facts of the day, brought to you by Wild Earth. And I just love how they drink as well. It's just so... I feel sorry for them, actually. It looks like such an effort, doesn't it? Being tall is not easy. It really isn't. So Ellen, thanks so much for your question. You're asking me, do I still guard or have I taken a back seat? So Ellen, I still guard. I still very much love driving around with the guests, getting out, tracking, walking. I'm still very much guarding. There are some places where I do sit in the vehicle with guests and guard from there, and kind of do more hosting than guarding. But anywhere in South Africa where I'm guarding, I'm driving around, man. I'm in the thick of it. I still absolutely love it. It is my favorite part of my job, is just being out there and, you know, having that sun on your back in the morning and reading the newspaper, as we call it, or looking at the fresh tracks. I don't think I'll ever stop doing that, ever. I'll have to have my guarding license taken away from me before I actually stop doing that. I just love it so much. As we have a look at these giraffe, how cool is this? This is a really awesome picture. And just watch when they stop drinking, watch their heads. Watch, they'll do a little flick. I'll explain why now. There's the first flick, second flick. Third flick should come up soon, although this one seems quite thirsty. So that flick that they do is, so you can imagine, if you look at them now putting their heads down, you can imagine how much blood is flowing to the brain right now. And so to prevent it, basically to prevent any pressure issues, they have a valve that closes up basically at the base of the brain. And when they lift their head up, that involuntary flick almost reopens that valve and resets the pressure. Isn't nature amazing? It's crazy. Oh man, I wish I had that involuntary thing. How often I stand up and feel like I need to sit down again because I'm now lightheaded. I wish I had that presence of mind to give it a flick. Maybe I'll try it later. I'll let you guys know how it goes. Jason, thanks so much for your question. You're asking, are they good long distance runners? I wouldn't say they're very good long distance runners. They don't really run. They're more lope. So they're just ungainly. So they're not fast at all. Lions could catch up to them very quickly. But they just all like knees and feet, so that it's difficult to grab them. They can go for fairly long distance. So I wouldn't say they're like the Sesame, which can go for a long time, as well as hyena can also go for a long time. The ultra runners of the bush, if you will. They can move fairly quickly, but they're very heavy as well. So you got to take that into account. What's interesting is in Kruger National Park, some of the lion prides have actually figured out with these animals that if they push them up onto the tar roads, they can slip, and then the lions can take advantage of it. So yeah, again, Mother Nature's cleverness. But yeah, they're very, let's just call it a quick jog more than a run. You see, it's a massive.
Oh, wow.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Every week, the wilderness delivers.
And that's why we're here.
Drama, chaos, crimes, humour. All moments you'll never forget. We've counted them down, argued about them, and finally picked the very best. From rare sightings to classic bush showdowns, this is nature's weekly highlight reel. Sharp facts, bad jokes, and the wildest top 5 you'll see this side of the savannah. It's not just a show, it's a wild bush week.
We are here with a male leopard.
Crocodiles are in my top 3 most favorite animals. I actually have a tattoo of a crocodile. I love them. They fascinate me. How they've just survived. There's been so many animals that have come and gone in our the world, in the Earth's history. Some due to man, but mostly due to temperature changes and. It's amazing, and these guys have been around for millions of years. We're not talking thousands, we're talking millions and millions of years that these guys have survived and become the apex predator of the African bush. Every single living being is on the menu. including rugby players, as big as they are. These guys, there's no judgment. If they feel that you could make a good meal, you're on the menu. Everything from impala to everything else. They literally are top survivors. And what makes them really special is when conditions get tough, they adapt, and they adapt really quickly. They can drop their heart rate down to almost being completely inactive. They can bury themselves in mud. They can live off the fat. So with crocodiles, they store most of their fat in the base of their tail. So anybody out there that's ever eaten crocodile meat, that meat would have come from the tail of a crocodile. And they can live off that fat as only reptiles can do for years. They just are phenomenal creatures. Yeah. I would love to sit down and have a discussion with one and tell them how much I admire them, but this probably would be my last show if that happened. So I think I'll stay away. I have children, so I have to be careful. But I love them to death. They're so cool, man. I love them. Very, very cool animals. I think most people have seen them in action on the documentaries that you see in the Mara, and of them taking out the wildebeest and the zebra as they cross over the Mara River. And let me tell you, there are some crocodiles in that river that are gargantuan, humongous dinosaurs that are living in that river. It just, sometimes you'll come across the crocodiles and you just think, even the buffalo are not safe from these guys. It's quite amazing. And Gavin, you're 100% right. You're saying you think simplicity works evolutionary wise, and you're 100% correct. These guys are just as simple as simple as it comes, but at the same time very clever with how they do things, and just adapt. I suppose. So for me, I don't know if you guys feel the same, but for me, whenever one thing I love about what I do for a living, but also regardless, just the natural world, is learning from them. As human beings, we live, especially in the world we live in now, everything is just fast-paced. From having to answer emails within 24 hours and being contactable even when you're on leave, and just the abundance of information that we are subject to as well. It's a hectic lifestyle, and I often when I'm out in the bush will kind of look at how things run, and most importantly how balanced everything is. How Mother Nature just finds a balance for everything, and everyone has their place in the wilderness. Everyone has their duties that they do, which they do every day, come rain or shine. They rely on each other. I think that's a lot of what human beings have forgotten is, regardless of whether we want to admit it or not, we rely on each other. We're in an ecosystem together, which is Earth, and we rely on each other. And you learn that. You see that with the animals. I mean, it's not like the crocodile's lying there now going, I rely solely on the hippos for opening up the river system, or their scats from putting nutrition in the water for the fish to carry on living so that I can eat the catfish, or the catfish having very primitive lungs and dorsal fins, and they can crawl from waterhole to waterhole, so there's always a food source for us. That's obviously not a thought, but the simplicity of just living in that balanced ecosystem, I just think is something that we should all learn as human beings. I really do. I think it would benefit us a lot. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my philosophy on life. We're going to leave the dinosaurs here, and we're going to head over to Founders and see what's going on there. Oh yes, here we go. From one prehistoric being to the next. We've got two beautiful square-lipped or white rhinoceros. And of course, not to be outdone, is the Egyptian geese with one gosling, I see. I don't know if anyone can confirm that is all that's left. I hope not, since the last time I was on here. I hope not. But yeah, look at this stunning white rhinoceros. They are beautiful. Having a big fat drink there. So they whenever you see, in particular the white rhino or square-lipped rhino, is how skittish they seem. Any noise or change in anything, and especially in wind, their whole demeanor changes. And the reason is because their eyesight is shocking, absolutely shocking. And so they rely a lot on their hearing and their sense of smell, but mostly on their hearing. You can see while that beautiful girl is drinking there, her ears are constantly scanning. You check that, going off in every direction, and anything that she hears that doesn't sound right, head goes up and the smell is turned on. And this is why they can come across quite skittish, especially in the wind. I was fortunate enough to have a few rhino sightings recently, a couple of days ago. And we also had a female and a youngster, and beautiful sunny day like it is here today on the north coast, and very chilled, very relaxed with the vehicle. Got some stunning footage of them, spent some time with them. It was great. And we had a front that came through, and quite a lot of wind. And the next time we saw them, their entire demeanor had changed. They were reluctant to come near the vehicle. We had to give them quite a big wide berth, and that's because the wind dulls their sense of smell and hearing, and so they are on high alert, especially when a female's got a youngster. They're on extra high alert as well. So for them, a good rule of thumb is if you're ever in a reserve where you're likely to see them, and it's very windy, give them a little bit of space, and just give them a wide berth, because they are on edge to begin with. It just helps them settle down a little bit, and then at least you can get some photographs and spend some time with them. Look at that cutie. That is such a cool sighting. Man, how lucky are we, guys? How lucky are we that we get to see this day in and day out? I wonder whether they'll chill in the shade there. That'll be awesome. It's around about this time of day where they will have a little bit of a rest and lie down, and then we'll carry on feeding. Their digestive system's not that great. It's much better than Ellie's, much better than Ellie's, but still, if you find any rhino scat in the bush, still has quite a lot of grass and leaves and stuff inside it, depending on which rhino it is, of course. So they are a hindgut fermenter, so all the digestion happens basically at the back of a gut, or hindgut, which is a normal thing for an odd-toed ungulate, as we call them, the three toes, zebra being one of them, or the equine family. They all have very similar digestive systems. Check those ears.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
and gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
My full name is Maxine Gaines. Best part of the job, gosh, I just love everything about guiding. I love being able to observe animal behavior and animals behaving naturally. So for me, that's by far the best part of the job. And so what we do here at Wild Earth is develop those connections with the people that are viewing and maybe just light a little spark that says, you know what, I want to be involved in protecting this ecosystem.
That is brilliant.
Ria, you say the best kind of roadblock? Absolutely. Look at this.
Hello, girls.
Out here, every moment counts. As a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing. Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7 and rewind if you want to catch something again. Enjoy behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and early access to travel offers. It's the best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
Sprayed. It was actually got some footage of it, and it looked pretty hectic. So, yeah, our storm fronts are starting now as well. But if you look at how well everything's doing, oh, there we go. They're going to lie down under the tree. I was hoping that was going to happen. At the end of the season, how fat all the animals are and healthy they are, you can imagine the poor lions are going to really struggle keeping up with these animals during the summer season, because they rely on animals being a bit weak to catch them and to eat them. You know, otherwise it's such a massive effort to catch these things. But it's good. It's good to see. It means our ecosystem is healthy, which is great. So it looks like that little cherub unicorn, chubby unicorn. Oh, we've shot over to Aldonia. Okay. Because we've got a pool party happening. This is what's going on. We've got the lifeguard elephant, and then of course the gangster zebra, and the giraffes that just take advantage whenever the zebra are there to protect them. Here come more zebra. The gangsters on their way. I love it when they do this. And look at that zebra closest to us on the right. Look at those, how those stripes are broken up. That's really cool. That'd be a great photo. So Diane from Cape Town, thank you so much for answer to the question. You said you love monkeys, which are your small animals. That's cool. I'm guessing you baboons as well. I wonder what's coming down to the waterhole here, chasing. Even the zebra are worried about it. That tells you something big's happening. I wonder if it's more ellies on their way. But now, tell me something, Diane. Does that include baboons? Or is it monkeys and baboons that you like? Monkeys are very cute, I've got to say. They're naughty, but they're very, very cool and very beautiful. I love the vervet monkeys. They're very sweet, especially the babies. And don't forget, guys, the question of the day is, what small animal or animals do you enjoy when you go to the bush? Is it birds for the bird calls? Is it the insects because it's summertime? What is it? And I'll be shocked. And I know if one of you come on and say, oh, it's the mosquitoes, I know that's a big lie. A huge lie. So don't try and trick me with your mosquito message. I know that's not possible. But yeah, let me know, guys. Let me know what your favorite small animal is to see in the bush and why. And we've got the sweetest little, so this little zebra is very sweet and very cute. You can see the little bum fluff there still, so he's still fairly young. That hair will kind of fall off, and they'll just have that very smooth coat that you see on the rest of the zebra. He's trying to feed and mom's not having it. Not on camera. But the first week or so of their lives, they stick very, very, very close on their mom's flank. And that's really just to learn her stripe pattern. So that in danger, when they run off, when they're chased by lions or something like that, the little one can pick its mom out in the crowd. So Benson, you're saying you love the explosion of insects after the rains? Yeah, it is very cool. For me, that's just a telltale sign of summer. I love kind of, you get the heavy rains in the bush, and then like maybe a week afterwards, you get all the dung beetles that start rolling dung, all the hatches that come out. I'll be honest with you, Benson, it's not fun when you are driving the game vehicle and you've got the spotlight at night and you just get belted in the face by a million insects. And you come back, and I call it the Lloyd Christmas look, when you basically get out of the game drive vehicle and you have insects up your nose, in your teeth, and you say to the guests, okay, cool, see you at dinner in 15 minutes, and you have to go basically and shower because you look like one of those electric grid things that people put up for the insects. I don't enjoy that, I'm not going to lie. And no insect tastes good, I can tell you. I've never had an insect go down my throat and think, delish. So yeah, I don't enjoy that, but it's. And don't you just love the cicada beetles as well when the heat's picking up and that telltale fizz of the cicadas, and you know it's going to be a hot day. I love that sound. It's really cool. You can see the one zebra on the right of the screen right now. In fact, both of them look pregnant actually. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, they both look pregnant. I don't, that little one standing there next to the pregnant one, I can't actually tell you why that is happening, unless because that zebra doesn't look old enough, but possibly that she's definitely pregnant, the one on the left for sure, and the one on the right as well is extremely pregnant. She's about ready to drop. So their gestation period is 12 months, so a little bit longer than us, but of course the zebra needs to walk around after a few hours, so she's very heavily pregnant. That's big. I reckon she's not the one on the right, of course, it's not long before she drops. A little chair about. Shame. It must be really uncomfortable, especially in the heat, because it looks really hot there. If you kind of look in the distance, you can see that mirage effect. It looks like a really hot day there at Aldonio. So I know my wife, when she was pregnant with our kids, if the heat got up, she would just hate life. Absolutely hate it. So I can just imagine what it must be like with these guys, although they do have the black and white stripes that help to disperse the heat a little bit. But yeah, it must be pretty tough. And these are Burchell's or plain zebra. Telltale sign for that are the stripes that go all the way to the belly, whereas the other two that we get, their stripes kind of finish halfway or just above the belly, whereas these guys are wrapped. They're wrapped zebra. And I agree, Anita, loving the stripes. It's beautiful, isn't it? And what I like doing as well when there's zebra standing still like this is just look at the difference with the stripe patterns, and how unique it is. I love taking photos of zebra actually. They're very, very photogenic because you can do a lot with it. You can take color photos with them if the lighting's right, but then all the photographers out there will understand if you take a photo that's nicely framed, you've got the rule of thirds going, but you've messed up the lighting a little bit, you can always make it black and white and it looks just as good. So they're awesome to photograph. See that tail going nuts with all the flies and the biting insects, the shaking of that skin all the time. you'll notice with zebra as well, especially in the summertime when they just get peppered with the flies and the biting insects, is they will roll in dust. So it's not uncommon at all to go into an open area and see these little depressions in the dust. And you think to yourself, what was that? What's been lying? First thing is what's been lying here. But actually, it's the zebra. Wildebeest do it as well. They have a little dust bath, and they just cover their coats in a thin layer of dust, and it just helps those biting insects. Just creates a bit of a film between the skin, just for the zebra, just to get a little bit of respite during the day. I see the oryx are on their way through. Small herd of them. Diane from Cape Town, Diane said that her favourite small animal was a monkey, and I asked, does it include baboons? Diane, you're saying it does not include baboons. I had a sneaking suspicion it didn't. You're saying baboons are intimidating, and you had one in your room at Sun City, at the palace. So I've actually heard a few people complain about the baboons there, in terms of they jump on the into the rooms and they go in and grab. And the thing with a baboon is you can't really shoo it. They're so big. And a big male baboon, their canines are actually longer than a male lion. They're very intimidating. So I don't blame you, Diane. They can be quite intimidating, but the trick is to just keep the sliding door closed or try and keep them out. But yeah, I agree, they are intimidating. Nice visual representation of that giraffe flicking the head, as we were talking about earlier. Thank you, Giraffe. I appreciate that for being team member. And for those of you who are fairly new or watch the show intermittently, you'll notice that the elephant, there's always one elephant exactly where this elephant is right now, and who looks like he's just sucking up mud. But it's actually the inlet to the waterhole. And what he's doing is he's going for the clean, cool water. I think that giraffe has seen its reflection. And it's like, what? There's a giraffe down there swimming. Can't believe it. How cool is that? So he's going for the cool water. Elephants hate dirty water. They cannot stand it. And they don't like warm water either. So where they can, they'll always go for the freshest, coolest water, because they're water snobs. But who's going to argue with them? When 6 tons shoos you away from a water source, you kind of just have to go. So David from the UK, thanks so much for your question. You're saying, can animals have the same problems in birth as humans? And David, the answer to that is yes, they can. So all mammals can have similar birthing issues, stillbirths, cords wrapped around the neck, which I'm sure for a giraffe is a common occurrence. I don't think they can get away with it much. Deformities. It happens quite a lot out in the bush sometimes. I've actually seen as well sometimes an animal born, and I can't necessarily say that there's anything wrong with it per se, but the mother or the herd will abandon it and leave it for whatever the reason might be, whether it be a deformity or whatever the case is. We'll never really know. But yeah, it's all mammals have pretty much the same problems. Just gestation period can differ, obviously. These giraffe are beautiful. 2 girls. Love how that giraffe is fascinated by its reflection in the water. Just thinking, how is that giraffe holding its breath for so long? I've got to go tell the others. This is must be a world record. Or possibly it's thinking, oh my goodness, one of the elephants drowned my friend who looks just like me. Either that or there's a...
Oh, yes, there's a leopard. I've got a leopard here. My name is Cedric, and behind the camera with me we've got Muscles and Paul. Well, it is Feline Friday.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
Would you like to know what an elephant's favorite food is? You could ask me questions like that in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive from the heart of Africa. The Fortunas over here. Watch Safari Live and connect with nature.
The bush, full of beauty, wonder, and absolute chaos. And now, all that madness has its own show. It's called a Wild Bush Week. The countdown of the most outrageous, heart-stopping, and sometimes downright ridiculous wildlife moments of the week. Lions throwing their weight around. Hyenas gate-crashing the buffet. Leopards doing, well, leopardy things. Each week, it's a fresh reel of safari gold, a mix of drama,
She's just got an impala, everybody.
danger, and a healthy dose of laughter. So, if you fancy a highlight show with bite, and I don't mean just the animals, tune in to a Wild Bush Week. You bring the tea, and we'll bring the tusks, tails, and teeth.
And yeah, beautiful, stunning. Big boy there as well. Their little bums are so cute, man. Very, very cute. So interesting if you guys ever find yourself stuck out in the bush, is you obviously need to find food. Don't follow the baboons. It would not be a very good idea because baboons have got a tolerance to poisons and to food that is not entirely fresh, that's got bacteria on it, and that can actually make you quite sick. You need to follow the monkeys. So the monkeys are the ones we're able to pretty much eat everything that they eat. So if you're ever stuck out in the bush for whatever the reason might be, make sure you follow the monkeys and give the baboons a wide berth. Beautiful. What's interesting for me is the bigger baboons are carrying quite a lot of hair, way more so than the ones where I operate, kind of in southern African regions, besides some of our reserves in the mountainous areas like Drakensberg or in the Cape. So to me, this tells me that where these baboons are feeding, or certainly, the great rift rattley don't get, it's not like it gets freezing cold because of where it is in terms of the equator. But it's interesting to me that they've got very thick fur. There must be a weather reason for it. I will have to research this for you guys and try and figure it out. It's just an interesting observation that I've made. If anybody goes into the bush fairly often, just look at how thickly set these guys are with the hair. It's quite interesting. I have got some homework to do, obviously, to find out. So Brian, thank you so much for your comments. You said ahoy, Sean. I like it. I like the sailor theme there. You're saying you love meerkats because they're cute and they're family orientated, and you enjoy the sounds they give off, and you find them quite funny, especially when they're sleeping. So Brian, yeah, meerkats are very cute, very, very cute little creatures. In fact, all the mongoose, they're so funny with the way that they behave. And what's interesting with the meerkats, you're talking about you enjoying their sounds. So a lot of people that will study meerkats and will actually study a particular family, is that the meerkats have got different alarm calls for each different predator. So if you get used to the meerkats that you're following around, you can actually pick up what predator they are concerned about just by the little chatter that they let off, which I find quite interesting. Baboons are the same. Baboons and monkeys as well. They've got particular calls that they let out, because these baboons here, there's a dominance hierarchy in the troop. The lower ranking baboons are often given jobs to do, and one of those jobs would be a sentry or a lookout. And these baboons, their job is to basically sit high up and to watch out for any predators. That might be big birds of prey, which will go for the smaller baboons, lions, leopards in particular, because leopards love eating baboon. Hyenas as well, and they've got particular calls that they let out as well, which is quite interesting. But baboons, when there's a predator around, the males can actually get quite aggressive, and I've seen them chase leopard off a few times in Kruger National Park. They are not to be messed with, let me tell you, baboons. You've got to respect these guys. This is it looks like a plunge pool. Looks like a lodge plunge pool. Don't you think? I could quite happily sit in there with my camera and take some photos of these baboons. You see that one sitting there on the left is big. Big, big, big. And this will be a whole troop, guys. This is, this won't be, sometimes we talk about all those zebra, and we talk about how many different herds there are within that massive group of them that you see out, and especially in Botswana. Baboons won't work like that. Baboons will have a troop. This is quite a big one. But baboons don't tolerate other baboons. And I've actually seen troop fights where it can actually, all of them, and they all get involved. The little ones, the females, the males. It's like a full-on war that happens. It is the strangest thing. They get quite violent with each other. So as you can see, their behavior is very relaxed. There's some that are grooming each other. Which is very important. That grooming just kind of solidifies the bonds between the different baboons. But I mean, look how many there are now. That looks like the line to a Bryan Adams concert. It's crazy, man. And that tail, that bend in the tail, is also a sign of dominance as well. So the more pronounced that bend in the tail is, the more dominant the baboon. And the flatter it is, obviously, the less dominant it is. So it takes the saying being held in high regard to a different level with these guys. Gee whiz, this is huge. This is one of the biggest troops of baboons I've seen in a long time. Wow.
Do you want to know why impala are the most common antelope we find here in the Kruger National Park? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live. Connect with nature.
There's some ellies that we're approaching now.
The light on her as well is absolutely gorgeous.
So we are going to enjoy the rest of this sunset.
Wow, 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 this is absolutely crazy.
And thank you for joining us. From myself and Cam, we will see you next time.
I see everyone's now coming back since he's moved off. So that's a fairly common occurrence, the constant fight for power within the baboon troop. But there'll always be one dominant male that's dominant over every other animal in the troop. And I think we just saw him. He went off to go and do his business at a different location because he can. Look at those beautiful reflections in the water. It'd be so cool to be at eye level with the camera and to take some photos of those of those beautiful silhouettes. You can see the little ones as well. They dive bombing each other off the tree and playing around. Very cute. Little ones are jumping on mom. Very small ones are holding on to mom's tummy as she walks away. Lots happening in this family today. So guys, we're going to give these baboons some privacy. I think a few of them need it. And we're going to head over to Mahali. And we have some hippo. Now, don't be alarmed. As I said, so that that little one is not dead. It's just resting. So this is not an uncommon thing to see them feeding during the day when it's not very, very hot. In particular, I know some of you will have weather apps, and there'll be a section on that app that'll talk to you about the UV, whether UV is high for the day or low for the day. And the UV is the thing that actually affects these hippos more than anything else. So even if it's sunny, if the UV rays are not so hectic, it's very, very common to see them come out of the water. That water really is just there to protect them, because these guys have got no hair, they've got no sweat glands. They are just completely, whatever's happening externally is kind of what's happening on the skin. They are able to secrete a liquid that's red in color, looks like blood. Some people thought initially that possibly it had some sunscreen application to it, but it isn't. It really just is to keep the skin moisturized, essentially, so it stops the skin from cracking. So it's like lipase almost. It's nothing worse than in the wintertime having those chapped lips and constantly, and then you laugh. You'll have a big laugh about something, and then you can feel one of the cracks goes on your lips, and you're like, oh no, and you end up having to put Vaseline or something on that crack for the next like I don't know how long, like next week. It's the worst. I suffer quite badly from dry skin and dry places. Where I live, it's so humid all year round, so if I go up to Johannesburg for anything, I look like a prune. I age by like 5 years. It's horrible. And these guys are strictly vegetarians. There have been 1 or 2 occasions in the Luangwa Valley in Zambia where they have documented them feeding on an old carcass of some kind. But that is literally when they are in a severe drought, and that animal literally has absolutely no choice but to get some kind of sustenance from something. So it is literally desperation. It would be like a strict vegan kind of going, okay, listen, I have no choice, I need to go get myself a McDonald's burger. It would literally kill them, but they have to do it to survive. So yeah, these guys are as big as they are, and it comes from vegetation pretty much. And that big swathing mouth as they mow the grass down, moving around. Here comes Mini Me in the background there. Oh, it's having a... Oh, it's going into a hole. I thought, oh, there. Oh, shame. It's cute, man. Come on, Mom. Be my shade. Just stand there for a little bit and just shade me. I'm getting hot. How cute is that little one? So it's not uncommon as well for female hippo to take their hippos away from the pod when they're very young, especially male hippo, baby male hippo. Sometimes at this time of the year, the competition is quite crazy when it around the waterhole, and sometimes the other males can become quite aggressive towards other male hippos. So it's not uncommon to see them just take their calves away for a little bit, and then bring them back into the water and kind of give the pod a wide berth for a period of time, just so that hippo can grow up a little bit and start standing up for itself. This is such a cool sighting, man. I think this is the first time I've actually been to this waterhole. You know that? Not really waterhole, but you know what I mean. I'm sure there is a waterhole there, but yeah, it's the first time I'm here. This is cool. That little one is having a very, very hard nap. It actually looks great. Weather looks perfect for a nap. This is so cool. So Lily, thank you for your question. You're asking, do any other animals secrete liquid similar to, oh, look at that baby. Oh man. Similar to the hippopotamus. So Lily, yes, there are a few different animals that'll do it, most noticeably frogs and toads. So whereas, and these will all be for different things. So whereas the hippos will secrete from their skin for moisture, frogs and toads will secrete for basically for survival. So toads will secrete like a mucus, like a white, almost like a milky fluid, which is poisonous to animals when they eat them. And then of course you get the poison from the dart frogs, which I'm sure you guys know, which has got quite a potent neurotoxin. You get some fish that do it, and then of course snails and slugs, very similar to the hippopotamus. They also secrete just to keep themselves, to keep themselves covered in mucus so that they don't dry themselves out. So there are a few animals that do this. It's not just the hippo. Mother Nature, if an animal needs it, she'll make it happen. She's amazing. We've got some waterbuck there. We've got some spur-wing geese that are here at the waterhole as well. We've got some wildebeest in the background there as well. Egyptian goose there too. It looks like I can't quite make out that bird. I think it's a moorhen or a red-knobbed coot. I think I must just double check. I'm not too sure. I can't see properly yet, but I will let you know what that other bird is shortly. But check this young waterbuck coming in. Beautiful spur-wing geese. Fairly common. It's not uncommon to see these guys. And what's interesting, very interesting about these spur-wing geese actually, which a lot of people don't know, is that in certain parts of Africa, if there's local people in the area that will be feeding on different animals, they won't actually eat the spur-wing goose because their flesh is poisonous. And this is actually due to a blister beetle which is found on them, that feeds on them, that secretes a poison. And so if you do eat the goose, you actually pick up that poison and can actually get quite sick. So yeah, if you are in the bush and you're getting a bit hungry and a toasted cheese doesn't sound good to you, you're thinking let's go for spur-wing goose, I would suggest you don't. It might be your last meal. And then on the bank up at the left, there is an African spoonbill, busy relaxing there. I can't see the other bird, it's moved off, but I'm almost positive it was a red-knobbed coot. Almost positive. It looked like it. And we have a waterbuck in the water. How strange. It's where they get their name from. They are quite happy to run into the water. They're happy to drink, happy to eat, happy to run in for safety. They have a very oily skin and oily hair, so the water runs off, so they dry out quite quickly. So they're very well adapted to the water. And these are common waterbuck with that white ring around their bums. Looks like they just sat on wet paint. That's their follow me sign.
Let's go and take a look. See you out there.
Would you like to know at what age a buffalo calf gets its horns? These are questions that you can ask me in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live and connect with nature.
Oh, she's gonna catch it.
Come on, Tommy.
Watch this, we're about to see a kill.
You can see how close he is from where I am.
Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Those knot-billed ducks that we saw now, you often will see them quite far from water, a few kilometers from water. I've seen them away from water before, and that's when they're breeding. They'll breed in hollows of trees mostly. I have seen one couple take a nest before, which is fairly uncommon, but they'll nest away from the water. There's the coot. So the coot is to the left. That one that we just saw now with that red face, that was actually a moorhen. I think the new name is the Eurasian moorhen or common moorhen. That was the one with the red face. That's a coot. So that's a coot. The other one to the right is a moorhen, just in case any birders out there needed just to double check everything. I know they look similar and it can be confusing. But the moorhen's got that red face and almost like a bluish coloration to it. They're the spur-winged geese, the shankers in the water there. I actually love birding. I don't know if any of you guys enjoy birding. I love it. I actually love sitting at a waterhole and doing a little bit of birding. I'm not the biggest fan of birding safaris, if I'm honest. I just feel like, like if I see lion tracks or leopard tracks or, I hear an alarm call or something, I want to get there. I want to find the animal. I want to get involved in the tracking. Whereas with birding safaris, we call them twitches, and for very good reason, because anything that twitches is fair game and you stop. So I'm not even joking when I say this. There's some bird safaris that over a 3-hour game drive, you'll go maybe 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers. I kid you not. Because on a good day in the summertime, when there's a lot of birding around, especially in grassland areas, you can knock off 30 species of birds just in that 3-hour game drive. Now for me, even though I love it and I love birding, within that 3-hour period, something's going to happen. There's going to be an alarm call or tracks or something's going to happen, and my bush ADD is going to kick in, and I'm going to want to find out what's going on. But put me in a waterhole like this and I'll be very happy. I love watching. We've got the crocodiles back again. So the crocs will lie out in the sun with their solar panels out, as we say, because they are ectothermic, which means that they rely on heat from outside sources to heat themselves up. They are not like the waterbuck at the back there, that are endothermic, which means that they can heat themselves up from the inside like all mammals can. These guys rely on the sun, and so it's not really uncommon to see them lying out in the sun like this, and then they open up their mouths. They do that. Perfect timing. I mean, I didn't plan that, I promise, and I didn't send the crocodile a WhatsApp, but they'll open their mouth just like that, just to release some of the heat, because they don't want to lose that heat, because that heat is energy for them. And they are nocturnal hunters, mostly crocodiles. So they just showing off the wares there to the waterbuck. And so they save up all their energy and then they'll hunt in the evening. Most of the Nile crocodiles' diet consists mostly of fish, like sharp-toothed catfish. But I mean, they'll eat anything, like I said at the top of the show, from the waterbuck to the knob-billed ducks to pretty much anything. They will eat pretty much whatever they can, but of course the bigger the meal they have, the more advantageous it is for the crocodiles, because it just means that they don't have to hunt regularly. They can live. I mean, if that big croc there with its mouth open took out one of those younger waterbuck, that meal would last it months, absolutely months. So you can see there's a moorhen just sticking its head out in the background there, between the croc and the waterbuck. You can see that prominent red mark on the face there. That's the moorhen. So Simon, thank you so much for your question. You would like to know if prey animals are more at ease when the crocs are on land. So Simon, in the natural world, any predator that is visible is not hunting. And so if the croc is in the water like it is there, or on the land, if a lion walks past in the open, if a leopard walks past in the open, obviously some animals warrant more concern than others, but a predator in the open is not behaving in a like a nefarious manner, if I can put it that way, or a manner in which worries the animals. It's the predator you don't see that is the problem. So, these waterbuck and the other animals that come down to the waterhole will very much know that these crocodiles are here. And if they don't see the crocodiles, they will be a lot more cautious when they come to the edge of the water, because they'll be wanting to know, where is the croc? Because these crocs are proper. I mean, they will go to the edge of the water. And also, crocodiles are habitual animals. It is why in built-up areas where people go down to the water to collect water in the mornings or the afternoons, or fishermen go and catch fish, these crocodiles will pick up on habits. So obviously humans are quite habitual. We'll go to the place where we can best fill our buckets. We go to the place where the best fishing is, and these crocodiles will pick up on that. And so they position themselves in those areas to be able to catch their prey. And so these crocs will know very well the area that these animals come in and out of, where they get the cleanest water, where they go in and feed. These crocs have got it all worked out. So when they're ready to pounce, they'll be right there, and they go just underneath the water. You don't see them, especially in dirty water like that. And when they're lying in the sun like that, and they're building up energy, that energy is stored in the muscles in the form of lactic acid. But that lactic acid buildup is at massive quantities. It's something that would actually kill our muscle tissue off. But these guys store that lactic acid, so when the opportunity arises for them to strike, that it's so quick that the animal has no idea what's going on. It just is lightning quick. These guys are just next level. So Lucy, thanks so much for your question. You're asking, is it knob-billed duck or nobbled duck? So Lucy, it is a knob-billed duck. So KNOB-BILLED, knob-billed duck. So it's that male that we saw had that big prominent black protrusion on its beak. That's where the name knob-billed duck comes from. Thanks for just clarifying that so that you are aware of it. And then Flinks, thanks so much for your question. You are asking, are crocodiles different colors depending on where they're found? So Flinks, yes, it depends on obviously the soil type that's around the waterhole, because they often do move through mud and cover themselves in mud during the dry season. So obviously where the soil is darker, if it's on basalt or something like that, they'll be darker because of the mud. And then in areas where there's a lot of iron oxidization in the soil, they'll be a little bit of a red color. I have in the past noticed where crocodiles are in the water a lot, that they're a little bit lighter colored as well, whereas the ones that are on the land quite often are a little bit darker in color. I have seen that before, but in general, a crocodile is that general colorization, that kind of like greenish gray color. I don't know what you would call it, that hue. That's kind of the general color. Lighter than an alligator. An alligator is quite dark. The alligator's got like that almost like navy green coloration to them. We've got some impala in the background too, and then something interesting. So if you look at the top left of your screen, just below the name of the waterhole, you'll see there's a post there. So that's actually a rubbing post. So it probably is an old leadwood tree. I stand to be corrected, but just looking at how polished it is, it's probably an old leadwood tree that is being used for a rubbing post. So you'll get rhino, buffalo, elephant, warthog that'll come past there, and when they cover themselves in mud, they will rub against that post, and over time it actually, I've seen some that are completely polished. It looks like somebody took a can of polish and polished the stump itself. It's really, really cool to see. So quite often, especially rhino, because rhino are very habitual, they kind of follow the same routines, especially the males in territory. They'll come past there and they'll have a good rub. Sometimes it just looks so inappropriate. However, they love it, which means that we love it, because we love everything to do with the natural world. And then I've missed the grey heron that has flown in there. that is chilling by the water buck on the right hand side there. Very common, almost worldwide. A lot of you overseas will know these grey herons. They're very, very common. Beautiful big male, keeping his distance from the business end of the crocodile there. Don't forget, guys, we only have about, I think it's about 40 minutes left of the show, so I want to hear from you. What is your favorite little animal in the bush? Is it a bird that makes a sound? Is it a genet visiting at night when you're in Kruger Park, or whatever the case may be? Something that you really look forward to seeing whenever you go into the bush. Or if you are listening to us overseas, a small animal that you would love to see when you eventually make your way out here to come and visit us. We've moved on to Simbavati, and we've got a big breeding herd of ellies here.
See you out on the safari.
It could be a very exciting morning.
Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word. She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. This is action-packed.
Would you like to know the difference between a male and a female wildebeest? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live and connect with nature.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
If you love watching Wild Earth, here's a little tip. Become a member. You can gain access to the channel ad-free, you can rewind and re-watch sightings, and you can join our Tuesday live safaris. There's also behind the scenes videos, fireside chats, and every Safari Live episode, whenever you want it. It's just a better way to stay connected to nature.
Storm's busy brewing, so they'll get there, but as you can see, but yet the animals are still in great condition. I mean, the guests that I had with me kept commenting and saying, jeepers, the buffalo look in great condition, because the guests I had on this last tour of mine are actually cattle farmers, and they just couldn't believe how in the condition of the buffalo, considering the vegetation. But I just said to them, listen, it's Africa, man. You got to make a plan. You don't get anything for free around here. You got to work for it. So these animals know exactly where to go, where to get the food, and it's absolutely awesome to get feedback like that from guests who are used to feeding animals and looking after them, to see how well our animals are actually doing and how well they know their area. It's very cute. You see a few little youngsters are coming through. Looks like quite a hot day there. Let me tell you, the area that Simbavati's in the wintertime, these the heat can be, especially at this time of the year, can be oppressive because we haven't had much rain there. So, you know, you'll get days where it'll just be stinking hot. Absolutely stinking hot with hardly any breeze, and it's a dry heat as well. So you got to be very careful. I bang on like a broken record sometimes with my guests, telling them to continually drink water, because you don't, when it's a dry heat like that, you don't realize that you haven't been drinking enough until you actually get dehydrated and start getting that horrible headache that I'm sure we've all experienced before when we're dehydrated. So it's very important this time of the year to just keep drinking. And I actually I sometimes will actually even take salt tablets, because sometimes water is just not enough. You just need to replace that sodium and the potassium and magnesium that you lose from sweating constantly, because it can get hot, guys. January, February, I know I've got a friend of mine that's listening, Carol, and Carol will tell you, she lives in a place called Hazyview. In the summertime it can get absolutely stinking hot, and you're trying to do a drive through Kruger National Park, and it is just, you look behind you and the guests have melted into these little puddles, and you just see two little eyes in this little puddle. Poor guests from the northern hemisphere that have melted. Oh man, it can get really hot. So these Ellies will come in here and they'll drink fairly regularly, at least 2 or 3 times a day, and I'm hoping the rest of them come in and swim. It looks like we're actually going to have a bit of a pool party happening now. You just need one, right? It's like when you go somewhere and the pool's looking beautiful and no one's really gotten into the pool yet, and then you just need 1 or 2 people to get inside the pool, and then things really start heating up. So I reckon we're going to have a bit of a pool party soon. They'll drink first, because they don't like the muddy water that gets churned up when they swim. Oh, there's a tiny little baby kind of just behind its mom there. Be a cutie little thing there. But yeah, they'll drink first and then they'll have a big swim. I'm really hoping that we get to see the guys rolling around in the water and having, in South Africa we say a jaw, having some fun. It's really cool. Come on, get in the pool. So this is a very, very interesting question from Jane, and I'm gonna. This might take a few minutes to answer, so I hope you guys find this interesting. But it is a very, very interesting question. Jane, thank you very much for this question. You are asking, what would happen if one of the chambers in a 4-chambered stomach, so a bovine has got a 4-chambered stomach, as you know, guys, what would happen if one of them does not function? And Thomas, just saw your comment, Elephant Man strikes again. No, I should never have said anything. Anyway, sorry, Jane, back to your question. This is a very, very interesting question, guys. So what happens if one of the chambers in the stomach in a bovine doesn't work anymore? So, Jane, it depends on which chamber has stopped working, because each chamber has got a function that it does when the animal eats. So the first chamber is called the rumen. And that the rumen is exactly what happens, rumination. So that's where the fermentation happens. So that's where the plant material is fermented. So there's a lot of gas within that rumen, okay? Now, the problem with if the rumen starts to degrade or stops working completely is the animal then can't ferment cellulose properly. So cellulose is basically the fiber of the plants. It can't digest it. So, like I said, that's where the gas buildup happens. And if it isn't fermented correctly, just like that, they get something called bloat. So I don't know if you've ever heard of anyone ever comment about animals got bloat where their stomach distends, because that animal can't digest the roughage that it's eating. And what happens is that animal's appetite drops because of it. And if you don't fix bloat, that animal will die. You can't reverse it, unfortunately, because it becomes actually quite toxic. You can imagine all that gas buildup. It becomes quite hectic, which nobody wants, obviously. These elephants are awesome. So I'm going to move on to the next three chambers. We're just going to move over quickly to founders because apparently there are some chubby unicorns there. So just bear with me. I'll carry on with your answer now, Jane. Oh, we have quite a few rhino that have popped up here now. See, this rhino has been to jail. He's electronically tagged. Naughty boy, I wonder what he did. That's just a joke, guys. Obviously, it's just for tracking purposes, just for research, and obviously for security, just to make sure that the rhinos are kept safe. But yeah, this is very common, guys, to see rhino together like this. At least white rhino or square-lipped rhino. Very common to see them gathering like this. They are quite sociable or gregarious, as we say. Whereas the black rhino, not so much. They're not very sociable. They kind of like to do their own things. And they have done research where they found that they do meet up with each other every now and again, and we'll have like a weird, very awkward conversation, kind of like me when I was a teenager. But these guys love to hang around each other. They absolutely do. And this, you can see they're loving life here. Very cool sighting. We're very fortunate actually to be able to see this, having a beautiful drink.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. I grew up mostly here in the Lowveld. I grew up here pretty much on the southern side of Kruger National Park, a place called Marloth Park, for most of my years. Something surprising about myself, I did play drums in a band for many years. Best sighting I presented, we found Palumba and the two cubs, and the cubs are just way big.
The bush, full of beauty, wonder, and absolute chaos. And now, all that madness has its own show. It's called a Wild Bush Week. The countdown of the most outrageous, heart-stopping, and sometimes downright ridiculous wildlife moments of the week. Lions throwing their weight around. Hyenas gate-crashing the buffet. Leopards doing, well, leopardy things. Each week, it's a fresh reel of safari gold. A mix of drama,
She's just got an impala, everybody.
danger, and a healthy dose of laughter. So, if you fancy a highlight show with bite, and I don't mean just the animals, tune in to a Wild Bush Week. You bring the tea, and we'll bring the tusks, tails, and teeth.
And then, Jane, the last chamber is the abomasum, which is the basically that's like our stomach. It's very similar to our stomach, and it's got different enzymes and acids to digest pretty much protein. By then, pretty much it's just the protein of the food, and that's the problem. If the abomasum fails, pretty much enzyme digestion almost stops immediately. And so it doesn't absorb any protein, and they lose condition and weight, and they can actually deteriorate really quickly because the food is now undigested and it passes into the intestines, which can cause problems. So dairy cows get abomasum failure fairly common, but you need vets to pretty much correct that. It doesn't really work, but essentially those are essentially what the four chambers do. Now, if it's not like if one goes, the other three will pick it up. Each one has a role to play. So if one stops working, the entire system breaks down because it's supposed to be a balanced system, and it's a huge issue. So Jane, long story short, it's not good if one of them fail. They all have to work in harmony. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? How these animals work. I'm just glad I'm not a ruminant, or a bovine, to be honest with you. I'm quite happy being having my stomach that digests the way that it digests. Got some Egyptian geese on the way now. So Sandra, you're asking the tracker on that rhino's foot, why do they put it there, and why don't they put it on the neck like they do other animals? So Sandra, a rhino's neck is a very awkward spot to have anything. Just the way they carry their head, and how big the device would need to be. I know on an elephant it's really large, but with rhino it can actually get in their way. It just doesn't work that well, so it's a lot easier to have it on the foot. They normally put it on the front foot because with the male rhinos, they tend, when they are marking territory, they tend to urinate and to kick open their dung and to scrape as well. And so it doesn't necessarily work too well on the back feet. So they put it on the front feet so that it's pretty much out of the animal's way. It doesn't disturb them, doesn't get damaged, and you can keep it on the animal without having to dart it, because you don't want to dart these animals too often. It's really bad for them having to be darted. So the wildlife vets will do as little maintenance work on these guys as possible, because sometimes they just have an allergic reaction to the drugs, and then it's a huge problem trying to get them out of it, and then you have to watch them for 24 hours as well. So they put it on the least damaging place in terms of that unit getting damaged, because these things can last for a good year or so, some of them over a year, which is great. And it's all there just to basically keep the rhino safe, to do some research as well. It's all good stuff, I promise. And as you can hear, it's the bush alarm clock, the Egyptian geese. 4:30 in the morning in the summer, that is what you hear. Egyptian geese on your roof, calling, fighting, running around. Yeah, you can't get away from it. And if they are not on your roof, the woodlands kingfisher will happily take their place. So early morning wake-ups in the bush are quite common, especially in summer. So Mo, thank you so much for your question. You're asking how long will a calf stay with its mom? So with white rhino, they'll stay with their mom for about 2.5 to 3 years. The females sometimes will stay a little bit longer. They might stay up to 5 years, hang around mom, because like I said, they're quite sociable. But the males, once they get to 2.5, 3 years old, will be pushed out. And then sometimes they join up with other males like elephants do. Sometimes they go out on their own. It just depends on the area and how much space there is. Black rhino tend to be a little bit shorter. Normally the males are moved from about 2.5. But with white rhino, it pushes through to about 3 years. Like I said, females sometimes to 5 years. So thanks for your question, Mo. And on that note, it seems as though the rhino have decided to leave us. We're going to head off and go see what else is happening. Sorry guys, I had to go offline quickly because my dog decided to bark at a hardy-dar ibis, and it didn't make for good live television, sadly. So I'm back, and what do we got going on? Yeah, let me have a look. Oh, we've got some starlings. Beautiful starlings, yeah. So I am not going to lie to you guys. I actually don't know what starling this is. I would be amiss just calling them starlings and keeping quiet. I actually don't know what these are. So I'm getting word that they are called, I think, superb starlings, I think. I believe is what they're called. I've never seen them before. This is a first for me. I'm going to add this to my list. Remember when I first started the show with you guys, I said we're keeping lists. I hope you guys are keeping your lists. But yeah, I can confirm that these are called superb starlings. This is really cool. This is cool, man. This is a lifer for me. I've never seen one of these before. I don't even think it's in my bird app. Where is my phone? Let's have a look here. Have I overlooked the superb starling? I don't even have it on my app. Honestly, it's not on my app. How am I going to put this on my list? I don't know if the apps allow you to just put a bird down. This is really cool. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them before. But yeah, superb starling. How cool is this, man? I dig it. I don't know if there's any other birdies in the tree there. Oh, there's some zebra back there. I'm really quite keen. So you're going to hear some typing in the background because I want to know what their distribution is like. It's only found in East Africa. Okay, so it's only found in East Africa. So my app is only a Southern Africa app. So that would make nice. Thank goodness for Google, guys. This is really cool. So you only find them there in East Africa. Apparently Kenya, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Uganda, parts of Somalia as well. And they're omnivorous. So they eat insects and seeds. Unfortunately, we lost, I think whoever is in charge of the camera also got a fright with that bird. I'm hoping so. And that was really cool, guys. I'm gonna have to write that down on a list to see it, to mark it, and then yeah, I loved that. That was great. But now we've moved over to Tembe Elephant Park. Thomas, don't say it. Don't even say it again. I understand there are elephants on screen again, but just don't say it, okay? We've got some impala in the foreground there as well. Now look how green everything looks here. The northern KZN just seems, I don't know, we get rain throughout the year. It never ends, honestly. You know, summertime we get rain every second day or so, and then in the wintertime we probably get once a month or so. We get a day or two of rain. So everything's always green in KZN. But let me tell you, it can get hot. It can get very hot. So last week while I was away, my son plays cricket. And I think it was last week, Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. So a week ago, pretty much. They were doing cricket practice and it was 35 degrees. Now, 35 degrees Celsius here at the coast. Normally a really hot day is about 28, 29. When we go into the 30s, it is absolutely disgustingly hot because we sit at pretty much 100% humidity. And Jonathan, my son, actually got heat stroke because it was so hot. So it gets, oh, look how beautiful that male elephant is. Check how he's showing off as well. I think he's trying to shoo the impala away, actually. Beautiful boy. But yeah, it gets very, very hot in northern KZN, especially in the summertime, with March being the worst by far. March can get very hot this side. That male elephant is stunning. And you can see that rounded cranium of his. Telltale sign of a male. Females have that flat top that comes down at an angle. He's a beautiful boy with those beautiful tusks. And then you'll see there's one elephant there that possibly went partying last night in the top left corner. I think someone partied a little bit too hard for a Monday night and is done. Game over. His friends there going, I told you not to have that tequila. I warned you. I told you tequila's not good for you. But here you are. Massive hangover, or babbelas as we say in South Africa.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. best driver at Wild Earth, it is me. I believe I'm the best driver. I think so because I've. Best part of my job, I say, is just to try and look out for these animals, track them down. I love tracking animals. I love looking for, fresh tracks, and if you can find them, it's just at the moment of accomplishment. If I wasn't a presenter for Wild Earth, I would be the drummer for AC/DC.
And that's it for this morning's drive.
She's just got her Impala, everybody.
And we're going to be heading out and seeing what animals we can find.
You can see they're having little mud baths there, covering themselves in mud, doing the right thing. It's a hot day here today on the north coast. I haven't checked the temperature, but I reckon it's probably around 24, 25 degrees today. Hardly any clouds in the sky. Beautiful bluebird day, but it's hot. So yeah, these guys will be covering themselves in mud, doing the right thing with the sunscreen. Not only just sun protection, but it also keeps them cool. That nice cool mud on them. It would be like one of us having a buff or one of those cotton blankets. I've forgotten what they're called now. That you get in East Africa that you wet and then put over you when you're resting, when it's really hot. That's kind of exactly what it's like. So that one bull elephant gave a bit of a head shake there. That's a sign of annoyance. Could possibly be towards this very big male that's coming in, and you can see a beautiful example of those ear folds that are folding down. That's a sign of age. So as that cartilage weakens, so the top of the ear starts to fold in. So he's fairly old, this guy. I would say he's in his mid-40s, which doesn't sound old to us, but mid to late 40s is kind of towards nearing the end of an elephant's life. They don't live past 65 really, 55, 56 being a normal set thing out in the bush. So you can see those folds, that big heavy tusk. You see that foot, if you have a look, they're communicating to each other. The one closest to us that's drinking right now, and the one at the back there, you see the foot's up. It's moving it up and down. The one in the front was doing it as well. That's normally a sign of just a visual representation of a bit of irritation. So obviously at the party last night, something was said, and these two didn't really get along too well. You can see their hungover friend in the corner there still struggling. I think that elephant needs a cream soda, to be honest with you. The green ambulance, bring one quickly. I just love watching these guys, man. It's so cool. So now he's naughty, this one. He's off to cause a little bit of trouble. See the tail of the one stiffening a little bit. That's a sign of stress. Yeah, I think he said something at the party last night that just didn't go down well. He's obviously an aggressive drinker. And he said something and the rest of them are just not having it today. It's going to have 24 hours of silence. Sure, that one walking up is quite a big boy, hey? Very, very, very big boy. That's a good 6.5 ton elephant right there. Normally with the African elephants, they normally top out at about 6 tons. But it's not uncommon in certain areas for them to find a good 6.5 to 7 ton sitting at 3 meters, 3.5 meters at the shoulder. It's beautiful. Well, guys, can you believe we're nearly at the end of the show? It didn't feel like 2 hours, man. I suppose all good things come to an end, as my gran would say. See that beautiful lulla palm there on the edge of the water. Have come across a few lion cubs and lulla palms before. Got a big fright walking past, wondering where mom is. See that one put some wet mud on him, and now he's putting some sand on just to seal the deal. Well, guys, listen, we've got a few minutes left, but I just wanted to say thank you. It was really good being back with you guys again. I think I'm back on Thursday as well, so I'm already looking forward to that. But it's been really nice spending some time with you guys. Thank you for the questions and the comments, and I'm really chuffed about that superb styling. That is, never seen that before in my life. So unfortunately I can't put it on my app, but yeah, I'll just save the episode, and then at least I can, if anyone's ever asked if I've seen one, I can say yes. I just won't say actually in person, I just saw one on a camera. But that's the life of a guide, man. You can be in the bush for so many years, and then Mother Nature throws in a complete knee knocker, and you're just like, what is that? And it's always good to just be 100% honest and just say, jeepers, I actually don't know what that is, rather than trying to make something up, or just saying it's a starling. Because you guys aren't stupid. You know, if I just say, oh, it's a starling, you know 100% that I don't know what it is. So yeah, but anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, Jake, you're saying baby Ellies, what a way to end. Yeah, it seems to be my thing with Ellies. And perfect timing, because just towards the end of the show, these guys are heading out to carry on with their day. Oh, perfect. What a way to end. So guys, we're nearly at the end of the show. As I say, thank you so much for joining us. Myself and the Wild Earth Tech team we're really happy to spend the time with you today. Wherever you are in South Africa, wherever you are in the world, I want to say thank you so much, and I will chat to you soon. Cheers, cheers.